I was about to quit and I nearly did, but after spending tens of thousands of dollars on scaling my business, from tracking data to spending money on ads and sales processes, yet the most effective things that I did for my business that made me the most amount of money that I ever made is this one strategy that I'm gonna break it down completely in this video for you. Because if you're making 20K-ish, chances are that you're doing a lot of work. I mean, a bunch of works that can be replaced. So we wanna reduce the work and make more. And by doing this, you will make your hours worth nearly twice as much as it's worth right now. So if you don't know what I'm saying, if you're making 20K-ish, that's $66 per hour if you're working 10 hours per day. And so most of the time you're editing videos, you're on a sales calls, and you are doing appointment settings. So if you replace these works by high leverage works, now you work 4 hours per day, and now each hour worth nearly triple, right? So that's why I always say it's not about how much work you put in, it's about how much work your team is competent to do, right? So let's start this video by explaining what this system is. So we want to hire A players, people who are so talented that are gonna run through a wall for you. And then you want to add support to them so they can do the process easily and they will never quit, and then using numbers and simple math to double your profit. And yet the most important part of the process that you're spending the most time on. So I'm gonna teach you how to never run out of ideas with power of AI. So let's start this video by a fun fact that we don't want to hire experienced people, because first, experienced people are old, they're not ambitious, and they only care about salaries, right? So you want to hire young people who don't have any ego and value your growth over their salary. So you don't want to go to Facebook, Discord, and Instagram to find these people. And the one that you most probably want to avoid is Facebook, because sorry, but stupid, lazy people gather there. So these people are not trained in your offer and they don't know anything about you. This means that they only care about their salary, right? A players who will move mountains for you only come from Instagram stories. And another thing that you have to have an eye on is that if you're hiring the best talent, then they will get better opportunity. So you want to have people to replace them. You shouldn't be like, oh, my setter dropped and now I don't have any setters. I have to look for a setter for 2 months. And in these 2 months, I'll drop my revenue by 20%. So you're just burning the whole business because your setter quit. That wouldn't make any sense. So the thing you're doing is that you're filling your pipeline with ready people trained in your offer that are willing to run through a wall for you and move mountains. So you're gonna choose in between. This means that you have more options as well. And then if one of them suddenly decide to quit, then you have another one to replace it. So the thing you want to do is you have a landing page. So this is the Educate landing page for Iman Gaji. So you want to record a Loom video. So they're going to get familiar with your offer and what is your expectations. Then they can apply for a job. And you have to really understand that like your video editor is literally shaping your personal brand. Your thumbnail designer is getting you all of the views. Your closer is the person who is driving the sales for you. So these are actual importance of the business, right? And let me give you some advice that I learned it the hard way. Only hire people who take percentages, because people only gonna work if their money depends on it. If they get the same salary, they don't care if they take 1 or 2 or 10 calls. But if they're getting percentages, they're more likely to take more calls and they're gonna even perform better in those calls because their salary depends on it. And you don't have to pay them until they make you money, right? So only hire people who take percentages. That will be like for a thumbnail designer, you'll say for each 1,000 views you get me, I'll give you $100. For the video editor, for each 1,000 views, give them $200. For the closer, give them 5% of the deal, right? You only gonna work on result basis, right? So the main task here is to automate this process so you can focus on the high leverage works like KPIs and content which drives the most sales for you, right? This will make your times worth even more. So to let this process run itself, you need to hire A players and then train them because they're ambitious, they're young, but they're not well trained, right? So you want to have someone who knows everything about your business, right? We call it the full stack partner. So the concept is there's a person who knows everything about your business, and when you hire them, they know a little bit about copywriting, a lot about sales, and a lot about your content. And then they can train your salespeople, they can make your copywriters write better scripts. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to give you the content, which is basically like a glue. It gets everything together, right? So more clients results you get, then more people you will bring, right? So the thing you want to do is you focus on people who are more likely to become a case study. So you have, for example, a weekly call and you see only 10 people attend on it, 10 of your clients attend on it. Work on those 10 clients, right? Because they are the ones who will become a case study one day. They're ambitious, they want to get somewhere, right? If you have clients who are not active, then focus more on the people who are more likely to become a case study, right? And then higher level structures by talents now, each hour will worth 300 at least. When you hire these people, how they're gonna run for you is that they're gonna build systems themselves. If they're well trained and they are so ambitious, they're gonna build systems like this. So for example, if someone replies this, then you're gonna reply that. And if you track everything and make these systems, then nothing can get in your way to not make at least 50K per month. I mean, look at these systems. They're bulletproof. So now we get these people, but they're gonna get better offers. And this is the reality. We can't ignore that, right? Because if you're hiring the best, they will have chances to get better offers. So the easiest approach is that think about it as a relationship. Think about it as a family. And you're going to love this because if you are trying to scale your business with employees, I mean, I learned this the hard way. If you're hiring employees, you are never going to have them to build the strategies for you, do more than bare minimums for you. And I learned this the hard way, paying hard-made cash to unmotivated copywriters. So scaling your business by 3x as a group of friends is much easier than a company because you will love this, right? Everybody will like to work together. Everybody will get up and think how I can improve this system. So there are more things that you can add on to it, obviously. You can show them the long-term strategy. So if like your setter is making 5K right now as you're making 20K, show them if they help you scale to 100K, they are going to make 20K. They're going to make 4 times more, right? So then masterminds with talents get all of these together, right? This will allow you to get all of your talents together and have them conversation about work. And what this will do is that you're talking with, for example, your content creating department and everything is going well for them. They're scaling that process. But, for example, sales process is now not improving as the content is improving. So the sales department will take this to themselves. It's like, I am the reason that this company is falling because all of the other people are working so hard and they're getting great results. Am I the reason that this company is falling? Let me improve the systems, right? So you're increasing the competition in super basic terms, right? So then you want to track all of these KPIs and I'll tell you how to use each single one of them and how to calculate them. So if you see, for example, a content that is getting you more leads, then you have to double down on it. This is so obvious things that you will only understand if you're tracking everything. So for example, for me, it was like I had to increase my AOV, my average order value, because I was getting clients who aren't qualified and they have a lot of expectations. So what I did is I increased my prices, so I only get qualified people, and then I increased my lifetime value. So they will work more with me to achieve more results. And I'm going to show you how this is possible. And screenshot these numbers to know exactly what you're doing. So each YouTube video should bring 10 to 30 leads, okay? 10 to 30 leads mean 10 to 30 people subscribing to you or viewing your landing page, right? And then each reel should be 10 to 15 new followers at least, right? And a stories should get at least half of your followers' attention. If you are not getting half of your followers' attention, you're probably only putting Celsius stuff on your stories, which make people to avoid clicking on your profile, because more than half of people tend to first click on the stories on Instagram, right? And your setter should reach out to 30 to 50 leads each day. I mean, not leads that you randomly find, leads that follow you, right? And you should get 30% respond, 5% booking rate, and 85% show rate. The reason the show rate is high is because you booked them in. If they would go to the landing page and book the call themselves, they're less likely to come to the call, right? So actually take your time, 30 minutes, and book a founder assessment discovery so you can understand what you should do with each of these numbers, right? How to calculate your AOV, LTV, and then you'll have a whole idea of where you should start, right? I'll put the link of that first link in the description and on the pinned comments as well, all right? So the first thing that you will most probably have problem with is ideas. So I put two of the most important things that you should have. One of each is the AI that you should use, and then the right resource. So if we take a look at the resource that I built up, it's a completely free doc. I'll put the link in the description if you want to grab that. No email, no phone, explaining each step of the process. What market should you choose? What pain points should you target? And then use AI to build ideas for you, long form content ideas, and then hooks for your videos, right? And then this is the AI that I use called Cloudy. I want to just show you the example that I used for the last video, which was women who are trying to find their dream husband. So we find ideas like 78% of dating app users feel emotionally, mentally, and physically exhausted from dating apps, and they have the fear of being too much. But we didn't just come up with these ideas, we came up with the best long form content that we should put. Like 15 to 20 minute deep dive videos about the CEO's guide to feminine energy, why your business skills are sabotaging your love life, right? These are literally topics for your videos. And then it also came up with the conversion process as well. Live Q&A sessions and webinars. And it really broke down the formula and the hooks. Then I asked it to give me some hooks as well. Here we can see it breaking down the hooks, like I probably shouldn't share this, but here's how every successful woman is single, right? If you use this hook in your video, you're literally doubling your views, and doubling your views means doubling your revenue, right? So then now getting back to the point here, from the KPIs, you should already be understanding what you should double down on. And the three things that you can work with in content is double down on the content, which is the organic content, increase the ad spend. I'm sure some of you don't want to spend money on ads, but it will be so effective if you have some of the organic contents that you see they perform really well, and you take their hooks, you take their pitch and call to action, and you use them. And that's why I always say the people who are so good at organic, they'll always perform great at ads as well. So then you can improve your call to action as well, right? So with ads, we have Meta ads and YouTube ads, which are the most important platforms of advertising. So if you take a hook from the best performing video that you have, you 100x your chance of getting at least 4x ROAS. And this means you've built a money machine. So if you feed it with $5,000, you get $20,000 in return, right? And you never have to record several bodies for an ad. Like Charlie Morgan, you only record one body and you test different hooks with it, and you double down on the hooks that give you the most ROAS, right? Now, I want to teach you how to track these data in the first place, and then I'll tell you what you have to do to improve each. So net profit should always be tracked, the total deals, the closing rate, the shop rate. These are basics, right? So now if the closing rate is low, you'll probably have problem with your offer or your sales reps, right? If you have problem with show-up rate, then you'll probably need to change your pre-call formula, right? The things that you do before the call. Maybe you didn't nurture the clients perfectly. So as we talked about, you can either increase your price to take more money from one client or make them to stay with you for a longer period of time. And then cash per live call, right, is the exact thing. You're just increasing the price. And then cold or warm outreach, you want to track the outreach that your setters are doing. If it's going down, your appointments are going down and your setters are performing really well, right? And then the average sales per day, the average outbound per day, average revenue per day, and the average net profit per day. And by doing this, you will see each day what improvement did you see. So here, for example, we did a lot more outreach than we would usually do. And I know the numbers aren't clear, but here you can see that the average revenue went up, a little bit up. So you can see doing outreach made the revenue to go up, right? And then you obviously want to track the ad spend, the seller costs, and the closer costs, which are the basics. But the important things are the cost per show up. So you know how much money are you spending on ads for people to get into your business. So this is a high number. You should reduce that, right? Or cost per deal is actually how much money are you investing in production, in editors, and all of the stuff together to get one client. And then refund rate is how many people among all of the clients that you have ask for refunds. They're not satisfied with the service. And then the profit margins that are obvious, right? So you have to know all of these stuff to be able to change something. And I hope y'all enjoyed this video. It's 2 a.m. I'm gonna go sleep. So see you on the next one. Bye.